Hello and welcome to this week's Good Vibrations. I was going to say Good Juju, it's that too. Reading for this week of December 14th. Your teams all requested that I pick 4 cards this week, so I really want to focus on what's going to raise your vibration. What's a theme you could focus on? Sometimes it's letting go of things. Sometimes it's embracing things. We're always in this, the tide's coming in, the tide's going out. So I just send these messages through with the highest intention for your well-being as an individual on this planet. And so some of these I can see are a little deep, and that is good, because we're in a time of deep shifts as we're moving through this last bit of 2015. So for this week, those that chose this card, this is the Romance Angel deck by Doreen Virtue. And the card is Healing Family Issues. And on the card it says, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. This could have to do with parents. I'm going to broaden it a little, and I'm just going to say here that it could be family and it could be others that you really care about or that you have cared about in the past, and perhaps they're shifting out of your life. My understanding is that before we incarnate, we actually make contractual arrangements as souls to come into this life together and have a little exchange of some sort. And some of those exchanges are longer term, such as in the case of parents, your children, your spouse, very important people in your life. Some are very short-lived. They might be friends who come in and then they're out again. But those arrangements have been made. And anybody who's making a significant impact on your life, who is one of the top people that comes to mind for you, no matter what you think about, those are people you've made contractual arrangements with. That's my understanding. You don't have to take that on if that doesn't feel right to you. But I'm just expressing here, really feeling the need to say that, because I personally felt a huge sense of empowerment and peace when I realized that the people in my life, I had chosen them. Can you feel how different that is when you know that you have chosen to be with somebody, to have them in your experience, so that you can help each other along the way? And sometimes that is them perhaps getting in your face or challenging you or pushing you to be better and better all the time, or leaving you, abandoning you. Those are all arranged. That's all arranged. And with our beautiful human free will, we certainly can take any path, and that path can shift. But the agreement was there from the beginning that you'd come in together and sort of discover these learnings and experiences together. And in that way, it's like you've got this team around you, even people who may not be on your favorites list. It's all part of experience here on planet Earth. So I just encourage you to consider that perspective if you chose that card, because you're seeing the divine. There's this angelic presence, and that it's all good. It's all good, and it's working out as it should, because it's all part of a contractual arrangement. And just feel the freedom in that when you know that you've chosen them and that there's something there to be experienced. There was a reason, and a reason why maybe they're not there. I personally felt a lot of empowerment out of that. So I'm just feeling that that's really the message for that card, and that it lifts you higher when you realize that it's not personal. It's really not personal. This is something that you signed up to experience before you came. And that experience can take many forms as we assert our free will. So, like I said, a little bit of a deep message there. But that feels like what wants to come through for that card. If you chose this one, this is the, gosh, the name just slipped right out. I think it's the Energy Oracle deck. I don't use this one too often, but they did choose this. So this card is Envy. And what I'm immediately zooming in on is she's got this like chalice of like pearls and gold and such. And she's in a darker spot, and she's looking out at a golden sort of golden garden, it feels like, courtyard. And I just feel like to give you good juju this week if you chose this card. It's really seeing that chalice and that golden garden is right here. It's right within you. There's nothing more that you need, actually. It's just taking a moment to really, really appreciate what's in your life. Because I feel like those that you may look to as maybe having it better than you, so to speak, or that you wish you had this or that, I look at those people as maybe there's components in their life too where they feel like, oh, if only, and they're looking out from the dark place into the golden courtyard. I think we're all in the same place in that way, in different aspects of our life. Some parts might feel like they're going better than others, but really, I know I say this a lot, there's more going right than there is going wrong. And it's just, what view do we want to have? What view do we want to take? And if we want to be in that darker spot, where we're clutching on to our things and waiting for more to come in, versus stepping out into that bright courtyard with the baubles that you already have. Life is good. Life is really good. It can be a simple thing of waking up and I'm here and I'm able to hear or see or touch or taste, keeping it really small and then building up and seeing everything that you have accomplished. It feels like a time of gratitude for those that chose this card. And getting out of this shadowy place. And I know, I get here too. I'm with you. Getting out of the shadowy place where I'm always looking out and, geez, that could be better. Or, I wish I had that. Or I wish that this was taking place, not that. But we can really make that choice to step out into the courtyard. That's a personal choice. So it's really not wanting anything to be any different. It's taking what you have and really seeing that golden courtyard in what you have, because it's there. So that feels complete for that card. This is the Flower Therapy deck, for those who chose this one, by Doreen Virtue. I love this card. Simplify your life. The beautiful, simple, elegant daisy. What it says on the card is, you've had so much going on that you're spread too thin. This has to change now so your vitality can recharge. Because we are heading into a very powerful 2016. We're winding down. I feel like those who chose this card, I'm feeling the need to like take a breath. It really, you're running at a crazy pace. You're running at a crazy pace, and it's easy to get there. I know that feeling too. That's why I love giving these messages, because I am right alongside you on all of these. And it feels like you just need to take a pause maybe and really look at your to-do list. If you're a list maker or you keep the list in your head. And this week, really think about, what do I really have to get done? And try to work in some time for yourself. I certainly know this is the card for me this week. There's no doubt. Really think about that. Think about what you can put to the side, or, with Christmas preparations, do you have to do all of those things because you always have? That message has been coming up a lot lately for different folks. And could you consider a different perspective? Could you consider that maybe you don't have to do a certain item, or you can do that item in a different way? Or it's simplifying, not making it so hard on yourself, because we do have such high expectations of ourselves. So really take in that energy of the daisy. Look at it, they're so beautiful. When we see a field of daisies, I challenge anybody to not look over and go, wow, that is just beautiful, because they're just simple but elegant, and they just are as they are. There is no overly flourished look to them. They aren't embellished in any way. They are simple and beautiful. So for those that chose that card, just really take a look at where you can maybe take some things off the list, because not all of it has to be done. Then for those that chose this butterfly card, this is Healing with the Fairies by Doreen Virtue. And this says miracle healing. And I'm really drawn to the full moon that she is looking over at. I'm seeing that as the moon. It could be another planet, but I'm seeing that as the moon, which I know that we have the full moon in Cancer coming up on December 25th. And though I haven't looked at that in depth, that's what I'm feeling with this card, is that date is going to be important for those that chose this. And I will put up more information on that, and you can certainly find a lot online. But it feels like your team, there is a sense of peace. I'm looking at the dove who's coming down as the angel, the fairy, is pointing at the moon, where there is this archway, very ornate archway, and it's like you're entering into a new period. You are shifting into a new chapter, or a new turning the page, to start a new cycle, really. And I think it's with that, the 25th. It has to do with that. And that really has to do with our emotions. Cancer is definitely the nurturing mother, divine feminine energy within us. And it just feels like you're really facing maybe some old emotions and deciding the ones you're going to keep and the ones you're going to discard, that you're done with that. You're done with feeling that way. And you're ready to move on through this archway. And there's birds at the bottom of the card. There's birds headed out down here. There's birds headed out that archway. And this fairy indicates, your team is right there. And they're almost directing energy and support and good juju to you. It's almost being like it's directed right at you, but through that moon energy. So maybe this is a little early for those who chose this card, but that the 25th feels important for you. That really that energy, there's significant energy that comes to this planet through those celestial happenings in the sky. And so just know that it's very healing for you on an emotional level, and that it's the start of a new cycle of some sort. Because you also see the sun is shining through at the other end, the other part of the gateway where you're headed to, and it's a little more shadowy where the ferry is. And so your team is just like, yep, you got this. Move on ahead, and let this sort of pass what has been. And you come into a more, with the doves, you come into a more peaceful state of mind, and just feeling really much more at ease about how things are going to progress, and you perhaps have a plan in mind, or you know that a plan will come together, because it always does. If you look back on your life, things always do somehow come together. So that's everything for this week, I think, and I'm sending you good juju for the week ahead. Enjoy.